All right, Shalom. I want to first start off giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men that taught us this truth through the Spirit, and peace and blessings unto the elect of the nation of Israel, which is us so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are the Israelites according to the Bible. This is the brother Abadia from the GMS Houston camp, here with another lesson. And what gave me the idea for this lesson was me thinking back on all the indoctrination that the so-called white man, whose biblical name or nationality are the Edomites. They go back to their forefather Esau. Okay, you can read about that in Genesis, the 25th chapter, starting around the 19th verse. It's going to tell you about the birth of Esau, which is the so-called white man today, woman and child. And this man have done a number on us psychologically, mentally, through his different methods of indoctrination. Now, one thing I was pondering upon is what you see before you on the screen. I was thinking, I'm not going to say, I went to school in, I'm talking about grade school, like elementary on the West Coast. And the school was very diverse. I can remember in my elementary school that I went to, it had so-called Chinese, so-called Arabs, or I said Chinese, Chinese, Japanese, Arabs, which the Chinese are in the Bible, they're the Moabites. The Japanese in the Bible are the Ammonites, right? And then you have what else did I say? I believe I said the Arabs, which that's just a mixture of those people over there in the Middle East, the sons that came out of Abraham. Okay, outside of Isaac, of course, but you had Ishmael, and he also had 6 sons from Keturah. You can read that in the scriptures. One of them sons, I believe, was a Median. Okay, and there was the other Latin tribes, that are Israelites. They was in the school, and it was very diverse. Hamites. It was diverse, and every morning, and all of us around the so-called country here in America, no matter where you from, what school you went to, you had to place your hand over your heart, leave your right hand over your heart, and you had to say the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning. That was the first thing you do. Now we know, or you did, I'm sorry. Now we know that the public school system was set up to ultimately to indoctrinate us, especially the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, to have us believing in the so-called white man's way, in his ideologies. You see, and believing in this country. Now we read this, we don't know what the hell this means. Nobody knows about. And we're gonna go through this Pledge of Allegiance, right? And we're gonna go through it and filter this. What is this? Deception through the scriptures, because this is a deception that was pushed out there to get us to believe in this place. Just one of his mechanisms that he used to get us to, believe that America was a good country, a good place to live, that treats people fair, that's here to help any and everybody, and that's the exact opposite of what this man is set up to do, So let's get into it. I want to read this. We've been looking at it on the screen. Let's go ahead and read it. It says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. So it's telling you right there in that first part what what the flag stands for. The flag stands for the United States of America and to the republic. So the flag supposed to represent the United States of America, which is really a democratic republic. All right. And what does that system go back to? Where you have the republic and the Senate. That goes back to ancient Rome, the pagan Roman empire. You see? And what did I want to? It's a point that I want to make. Yeah, okay. It says well, let me read on. Let me just read on. Oh, it said, and we come up. That's what it came back to my mind. Salakia, and Salakia too for stumbling over these words. Um, so we were taught that the United States of America was this fair and great country that helps people, you know. And I'm gonna say this: when I was back in school, I didn't know what the hell a republic was, and none of this stuff really meant. You know, we was kids, but reading it, I got the sentiment from it that America is a good place to live. It helps people out. You know, any and all people come here and they're welcome to come to America. You see, and to get helped out, right? But let's go to the scriptures real quick. And show what America really represents according to the Bible. And then when you get older in this and you see this, man, well, especially here in these last days, the Most High done woke up the prophets. Okay, and we're teaching the truth of who our enemy is, what America is all about, who runs America, who runs the world, and how wicked they are. And their own people are exposing them. But real quick, let's bring this out. This is first I'm gonna read Revelation 17:1, and then I'm gonna jump to the 5th verse. This is Revelation 17:1. It says, "And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials." Now the 7th angel, which is also synonymous with the 7th trump that we read about in the book of Revelation, and it represents the end. It represents destruction, the end of the so-called white man's rulership on this planet. Okay, and let's read on. It says, let me read it again. "And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters." And as we go back to that Pledge of Allegiance, it's gonna talk about one nation, right? And I'm gonna speak on that here in a minute. But let's go into this verse right here. The great whore is talking about America, okay? Because this place can spread its philosophy, its way on to all the nations. You see, it basically America has figuratively slept with all the other nations by doing backdoor deals with them, okay? By spreading her philosophy upon these nations, like democracy, Christianity. You see? Well, if we read the next verse, I'm going to go back to verse 1, but let's read verse 2. Yeah, Revelation 17:2, it says, "With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, And that fornication is what? Democracy, Christianity, homosexuality, and the list goes on. All right. It says, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And that's that wine. You know, that wine, that fornication, and that wine of her fornication is talking about the American philosophy that has been imposed on these other nations. You see? Now going back up to verse 1, that judgment for the great whore is nuclear destruction. This place is going to be taken out of power through nuclear destruction. Okay, through a third world war. And we read about that, I believe, in Revelation 16. It talks about the war of Armageddon. Okay, in that war, the so-called white man is going to lose his power through that war. His power that he has on the earth. Now let's jump to verse 5. Okay, because this is still referring to that great whore. That great whore. All right, Revelation 17:5, it says, and upon her head, who's the her? The whore. America. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great. So this is, the people of the world know this place as the United States of America or America, but in the scriptures, this place is identified as the whore, Babylon the Great. And Babylon means confusion. Go back to the Hebrew word Babal. And it says the great. So not only any old type of confusion, but great confusion. Okay? Because homosexuality is running rampant. Transgenderism is running rampant. Lesbianism is running rampant. And every other abominable thing you can think of is happening right here in America. It says the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So America is not this great country that's helping out all the people of the world, but that's the energy that this place cast out, or the sentiment that this place cast out. Okay, and it definitely wants the people here in America, especially us, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, to believe in this place that is really helping out the people of the world. Anybody can come over here and get assistance from America, and that's all bullshit. We reading right here. This is a Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. Okay, because this place, America, is all over the world, in bed with these other nations. Right? They got military bases all over the and really what they're doing, they're raping and robbing. They have raped and robbed the whole planet. You see? You know, these military bases that are set up around the world are set up for America, the so-called white man, to police the mineral resources of the land. That's really what it's all about. And to police its profit, his money that he's making off these other nations. You know? It says an abominations of the earth, because the main abomination that America pushes and represents is homosexuality, man on man, and woman on woman, man on beast. A man can turn into a woman can turn into a man. That's what the fuck is going on here in America. Not this bullshit we was taught as kids. We pledge of allegiance to this sorry ass piece of shit country, so-called country. You see? Now let's go back to that pledge of allegiance that's supposed to represent how great America is and how just it is. Let's read on. It says, one nation under God. Now, this is not one nation under under God. For one, the word nation, well, there's many nations here in America, but the people have been dumbed down, okay, through this new and many other things that this man have done to keep the people in a stupor, right? That they don't know the meaning of words. All right, this is not one nation. This is many nations. That's why it says on the back of the dollar, what is this? Let me. I don't even have a dollar. Unibus Plurus. I believe which is Latin meaning out of many one. So it's many nations over here, but they coming under one banner. So Asian can be born over here and be called an Asian American. Arab can be born over here and be called an Arab American. It's all bullshit, man. A nation, and let's get it real quick. A nation. Let's get what the word nation means. I believe I got it. Right, I got it right here. So for the word nation, try to make this quick. All right, it says a race of people. Or it says century 1300s. I can't pronounce that word. It says a race of people. Now, let's jump to right here. It says birth, origin, breed, stock. So what does nation mean? Race. What does the word race go back to? I believe it's the Latin word rasa, which means sperm. Now check this out. It's telling you that the root of this word goes back to gene. Let's look at it. Now we look at gene, it says to give birth, begot with how you say this word? Salakia, derivative, with derivatives referring to procreation and familial and tribal groups. So how is one begat? How does procreation take place? Through sperm. It all starts with the sperm. Okay, the sperm is where everything originates from. Where one a person originates from. We originate from the sperm of our father. So we identify our nation based upon where our lineage goes back to. You see? And there's many races here in America. So that's bullshit we learned about this is one nation under God. And really what they was trying to push is that and let's go back to Revelation 17:1. But like I was saying, really what they was trying to push is that all of us nations, the different nations over here in America, are coming together as one in harmony and in peace. You know, and it start off with what? The kids. We in school, right? We saying that Pledge of Allegiance, and we seeing all these different races. Well, for some of us, I'll say, because you got a lot of our people that went to all Jake schools, all so-called Negro school, okay, or all predominantly Latino school. You see? But for me, in my experience, I'm looking at all these different groups of people and be like, damn, we all are coming together, So let's read Revelation 17:1 again, because it's a point that I want to make. It says, and there came one of the seven angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Now the many waters, if we jump down to verse 15, it's going to tell us what those waters are. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, so this is referring back to verse 1, are peoples, multitudes, and nations, and tongues. Now let's go back up to verse 1. So this whore, America, is sitting on many nations. This is the great melting pot, sitting on us, the Israelites, and all the other nations right here in America, because it's ruling over the nations here in America. Who's the face of America? The so-called white man, Esau. You see? Now, I had more I want to, man, I've been going longer than what I want to go. So I'm going to try to speed this up for the sake of time. So this is not the point I wanted to make. Right. Just goes further into that. This is not one nation. This is many nations. It's showing right here in the scripture that here in America is sitting upon many nations. Many nations are right here in America. The great melting pot. Right? Now it says one nation under God. Now, what God are they talking about? Because this nation, or which is not one nation, is many nations. And these many nations are not under God, meaning operating under the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Okay? Operating under the mind of the Most High. Where do we find all that information at? In the Bible, right? Now, from here, I would like to go to 2 Thessalonians, right? Because the God that America is really referring to, or the so-called white man is really referring to, is Satan. Because the word God simply means power. Okay, it goes back to the Hebrew word Allah, which means power. And that's the God that we under here in America. Ultimately, yes, the Most High is in control, and he set up the so-called white man has allowed him to rule in wickedness. Okay? But the point that I'm making is that the so-called white man is not operating by the standard of the Most High. He's operating through Satan. Okay? So let's start right here in verse 3, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. I'm going to run through these scriptures pretty quick. The point is in verse 9. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. And that day is talking about our Lord Yahushua returning and delivering the elect and destroying the wicked, taking this man out of his power, the one that we talking about, Esau. Okay? And the falling away is us falling away from our, first we had to fall away from our nationality. Okay? Which really started and be scattered throughout the earth. And that really started during around the time of 70 AD. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. That's talking about the so-called white man. And this as we read on, well, let's read, it's going to prove it. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worship. So it's saying that this man opposed and exalted himself above all that is called God. So he's not with the Most High. He opposes the Most High. Okay, and he exalted himself over the Most High in their mind, which means they proud as hell. Scriptures talk about the pride of this bastard. It says, so that he asked God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Through, how did he do this? Through setting up the image of Caesar Borgia, saying that the son of the Most High is a so-called white man, which would make the Most High a so-called white man. See, that's Esau showing himself that he is God. You see? He said it. Let's read it. It says, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God. If you go in these harlot houses, which they call churches all around America and the world, they have images of Caesar Borgia, which that image really goes back to Serapis Christus, if you do the history, right? And it's in the temple, right? Showing himself that he is God. So when everybody go up in the church, so-called church, they believe in that the God is a white man. His son, who the world ignorantly knows as Jesus, is a white man. His true name is Yahushua. Let's read on. It says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now ye know what withholded, that he might be revealed in his time. And this man is being revealed, that he's the goddamn devil of the Bible, not a man of justice and peace and equality. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work, which that was talking about the Edomites running or controlling the Roman Empire. Okay? Simply saying that the mystery of iniquity is what? Another way of saying sin. Is already he's here. He was back on the scene when Paul was put this in the form of an epistle, okay, to the church of Thessalonica, the Israelites in that area, right? He was saying to them in this letter or epistle that look, the devil is in power right now. The Roman Empire. They're already getting busy in wickedness as we speak. It says, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So meaning the Most High is allowing this bastard to rule for a period of time until he's ready to take him out. And that time is surely approaching, All right, verse 8, it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, which he's being revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And that's happening. The prophets are the spirit of the Heavenly Father's mouth. And we're speaking these words and we're revealing this bastard that he's not this great man that's all about equality and about helping out the world. Okay, he's the devil that the Bible speaks of, and he done nothing but kill up every goddamn thing in the world. And that he's gonna be he's gonna be destroyed with the brightness of his coming. That's those nuclear missiles. Okay, it's gonna be shot off in a third world war and destroy this bitch. All right, now this is the key point I want to focus on for this lesson. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. So this man, as we read in the Pledge of Allegiance, is not bringing the nations together under God. He's bringing the nations together under Satan. You see? That's why homosexuals have rights. That's why if you want to become a woman, you can do so right here in America. Okay? It says, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Now let's go back to this abomination, this deception. It says, Okay, it says indivisible. Now, indivisible means not divided or unable to be separated. And to tell the truth, all nations over here are pretty much clinging to their nation. Okay? Yeah, we all may live in this. All the different nations live in America. Okay? But all the nations uh deal with their own nation for the most part. Okay? And if there's any intermingling within the nation, that's for business reasons, to make money. That's what it's all about. Now, the reason the nations come over here, is to make money. It's to make their money. That's why. Let me bring this out real quick. It says this in the book of Revelation 18. What was it, verse 9? Yeah, it says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication. We was reading about that in Revelation 17, how the whore have committed fornication with the nations, right? It says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her. Okay, and that's really talking about the ruling class of the other nations, not the common man, woman, and child of the other nations. It says, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So when America is blown off the map, the other nations are going to weep and bewail and lament because they're not going to be able to make money off of this place. That's the whole reason they over here. They not over here, because they love the so-called white man so much and they think he's this fair, just person. No, they over here for the money, to make money, and they send that money back home to help their families. You see? Now let's end this. Let's close this lesson up. Now it says, with liberty and justice for all. Look at this bastard. Every morning with your hand, we had our hands across our chest saying this madness. With liberty and justice for all. Now I pulled up the definition of liberty, and I just pulled up a Google definition, and I like this definition. Oh. This phone is acting up. All right. Here we go. It says, the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority of one's way of life, behavior, or political views. Now, America is according to this definition, America is not about liberty, because the people in this country are not free from oppression. Okay, the people are being oppressed. We're being bombarded with unrighteous decrees. And check that out. The state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority of one's way of life, behavior, or political views. Especially for us, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we catching hell under this bastard. It says, and justice for all. Now, let's go to this definition for justice. I think I pulled that one up too. Did I? Let me just do this. Okay, now with the definition that I seen, I think it's right here. Now check now, it says justice for all. Now let's look up this word justice, and this is from the dictionary.com online. It says the quality of being just, righteousness, equitableness, or moral rightness. Check that out. Righteous. Now, how are you righteous? How do you display moral rightness? By keeping the law, statutes, and commandments that are written in the Bible. Now, the scriptures tell us in the book of Psalms 16 and 17. Matter of fact, let's get it real quick. I think I have that scripture. Not mistaken. Right, Psalms 50, 16. And I'm also read 17. It says, but on to the wicked, the Most High said. Now, who is the wicked? The so-called white man. How do we know the so-called white man is the wicked? All we got to do is read Malachi, the 1st chapter, around the 3rd verse. It said that Esau was going to be called a border of wickedness. We also can read Job 9 and 24, where it says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? Okay. Now it said this man, if the Most High is asking a rhetorical question. What do the so-called the wicked, which is the so-called white man, what does he do or have to do with declaring the Most High statutes? Let's give an example of that. When we go into this man's courtroom, especially for a criminal court, you have to swear in on the Bible. All right. Another example, the presidents swear in on the Bible. This country was supposed to be, was formed by so-called godly men, Christians, that were into Christianity. I believe they were Protestants, Presbyterians, Calvinists, right? All holding the Bible. When we was in hardcore slavery, the so-called white man held the Bible in his book. The Bible in his hand. Right? Reading out the scriptures. How we was going to live, this country was supposed to be a Christian nation. You see? Or or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth. This so-called white man took the Bible unto himself. They called themselves the people of the most chosen people of the Most High. Okay? And like I said a little earlier, or just a minute ago, or a second ago, really, this was supposed to be, which was a deception, a Christian nation. You know, the founding forefathers were all Christians. Now let's read verse 17. It says, seeing thou hatest instructions. What instructions? The law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible. Now we read the definition for justice really means righteousness. But this man is not about the righteousness is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. This man is not about that. He cast the Most High instructions behind him, right? And he set up his own laws. The scriptures tells us in the book of Daniel that he was going to change time and laws. You see? So this man's not about justice. It also tells us in the book of Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1 that woe to him that decree unrighteous decrees, meaning that's put forth unrighteous laws. So that means unjust, not just laws, but unjust laws. So with that, that's pretty much it. You know, I know this video was pretty lengthy, but this is all bullshit. And you know, was sitting back thinking about this. You know, we had to say this damn Pledge of Allegiance every morning. And I believed in this shit, that America was this good country that was to help people, even though when I left school or whatever, you know, I seen nothing but oppression. But I couldn't put it all together. You know, we were bugged the hell out. And, you know, thinking about it, shit kind of pissed me off. But, you know, it was all supposed to happen. And, you know, this man is about to get taken down, man. The Most High is about to destroy the shit out of this bastard, man. All the hell he didn't put on the children of Israel and on the planet Earth, but got nerve enough to say that he represent liberty and justice for all. Ain't that something? So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying and exhorting onto our spirits. Once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men that taught us this truth through the Spirit. And peace and blessings unto the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.